Okay, on to this triangle, the 60, 30, 90 triangle. So again, the first thing it asks us to do is to flip this triangle and make 4 of them. So I'm going to do this kind of quick because I think hopefully you have the idea. This triangle goes here. I'm not going to label it all because we're going to do that all right down here. So I'm just going to draw the 4 triangles. Then I'm going to have a triangle that goes like this. Okay, so that first blue triangle was not very good. None of them are. That's okay. That's okay. It's artist interpretation. Remember, it's not what it looks like. Hey, that one looks good. There we go. We got one good one in there. Okay, so now let's look at these. So again, we take this number, we add, is it 90 degrees? 60 degrees. 60 plus 90 is 150. That's not right. 30, 30. We had 60 degrees to it. We had 60 degrees to it because it's going to go 30 degrees here and then 30 degrees here. So we had 60 degrees on this one. All right, this one's going to be a lot different. It's not as easy. So I'm going to add 60 degrees to this. So this one's going to be 120 degrees because it goes 60 to there, 120. All right. So for these numbers are going to stay the same. Remember, sine is your y value. The y value is still the longest side. So it's still going to be radical 3 over 2. All right? Cosine is your x value. Let's just write this up here. Cosine is your x value. So cosine is my x value. That is still the shorter side. So that is still the shorter side. It's still going to be 1/2. And you notice when I'm doing these, I always write the numbers in first, and then I worry about what's positive and what's negative. Okay, radical 3 over 2, 1/2, same as over here. All right, so if we look, sine is y is still positive. So that's going to say positive radical 3 over 2. Cosine is x, cosine's negative now, so this is going to be negative 1/2. All right, these are exactly the same, which gives us this. These are exactly the same as these two, which means we're going to still have radical 3, but now we have a positive divided by a negative, so negative radical 3. Let's speed this up. Okay, this one's a little tricky because we want this to be 60 degrees right here, okay? So that means we're going to go from 180 and add 60 to it, all right? So this is 180, I add 60 degrees to it, so that's going to give me 240. 240. Okay. Now is the easy part. All right, so this one, again, it's going to be radical 3 over 2. It's still my sine value. It's still y. It's still the longest side. Radical 3 over 2. Cosine right here, still my x value, still the shortest side. Going to be 1/2. All right, now I look at sines. Oh, tangent radical 3, still going to be radical 3. None of the other numbers changed. Okay, so sine, y value. Now it's negative. Negative. Cosine, my x value. Negative. Negative. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. Last one. Okay, so again, I'm going to use the same method to get the number that I did up here. I'm going to go 30 and 30, which means I add 60 to it. So this is going to be 300 degrees. All right. Sine is my y value, which is this one, which is still the long side, so radical 3 over 2. Cosine is my x, still the short side, 1/2. These two are the same as these two, which means this is still going to be radical 3. Now I just have to deal with the sines. All right, sine is my y is negative on this one, negative. Cosine is my x, positive. Negative divided by a positive, negative. There you go. That is your 60, 30, 90. That is the tall triangle of the 3. Last triangle. I'm going to flip to the next page. Okay, so real quick, the thing I want you to notice, radical 3 over 2, 1/2, 30, 60, 90. These numbers are all exactly the same as the last triangle. They're just flipped. Okay, so this is going to be, so now my long side is this one, which means that long number is radical 3 over 2. The short side is this number, which is 1/2. So again, they just flipped. That's all that happened. All right, and so hopefully by now you've realized that it's going to be 1/2 all the way across. It's going to be radical 3 over 2 all the way across. It's going to be radical 3 over 3 all the way across. All right, we just need to figure out the signs. First step for that is to be able to see where each triangle goes. So I'm going to draw this triangle. Then this guy. And then this guy. All right, we got our 4 triangles. So now I'm going to label them. Okay, so again, these are all a little tricky to label. This right here is 30 degrees. This is 180. So what is 180 minus 30 degrees? So from here to here is 150. Because again, 180 minus 30. 150. And again, the number is 1/2, radical 3 over 2, radical 3 over 3. Okay, there's all of our numbers. Now we just got to deal with signs. Sine is my y value. Let's write it up here. Sine is my y value. Vertical, that's still positive, so it stays 1/2. Cosine is my x value. Cosine is my x value. So this is my cosine. It's negative. Positive divided by negative, negative. Okay, now we go on to this guy. So similar to how I figured out the angle of this, of the blue one, I'm going to do the same thing here. This is 180. This is 30. So 180 plus 30 is 210. All right, same numbers all the way across. All these 30 60s are going to be 1/2, radical 3 over 2, radical 3 over 3. Hopefully you know the pattern by now. This quadrant, both are negative. Right? Sine is our y value, it's going down, so it's negative. Cosine is our x value, going that way, so it's negative. Negative divided by negative, positive. Last one, this guy over here. So again, this is 30 degrees. This is my 0, or 360. So what's 360 minus 30? 330. Okay, let's move that over. And again, 1/2 all the way across. Radical 3 over 2 all the way across. Radical 3 over 3 all the way across. Okay, now we just got to deal with the signs. So sine is our y value, negative, negative. Cosine is our x value, positive. Negative divided by positive, negative. Okay, we now have filled out all of the numbers to make your unit circle. If I were to combine the 3 different triangles onto one circle, that would be a unit circle. The main thing I want you to notice is that there's really only 3 numbers to remember. 1/2, radical 3 over 2, and then radical 2 over 2. It's just those 3 numbers over and over and over again. Okay? All right, real quick, we're going to jump into some of the problems. I'm going to skip all the way to example 1. All right, so we've got this problem. It gives us cosine 16 pi over 3. It wants us to figure out what the reference angle is and then what the sine and all that stuff is for that circle. Okay? How long is this video now? Almost 10 minutes. Ooh, it's getting long. Yeah, I'm going to stop. Okay, here we go. This problem is gross. If you're scared or confused by all the whole 16 pi over 3 thing and why is it not degrees, I hate this. It drives me crazy as well. But here we go. Oh, if you're scared about it, there is another video that is all about the unit circle and turning it into radians. So I'm going to be using that for this problem. So again, first thing you want to do, remember this 16 pi over 3. Oh, side note, if you hate radians, don't want to think about it at all, turn it into degrees. Remember, multiply this by 180 over pi. That'll turn it into degrees, solve it from there. It'll give you the exact same answer, okay? But I'm going to work with it in radians because chances are H or W is as well. Anyways, 16 pi over 3. So I'm going to consult my handy-dandy unit circle. 16 pi over 3. So there's 5 pi over 3. That's the highest number for pi I have. I don't get any farther. That means this is 6 pi over 3. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 pi. And if you notice, I'm counting the thirds. Oh, where's the thirds? Here's a third. Here's a third. So I'm counting the thirds. So again, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right here. So that's your terminal angle. Okay? 4 pi over 3. Done. So you now know that, remember, if you remember 6, sine is y, cosine is x, your y value of this is going to be negative. Your cosine value of this is also going to be negative. This is a 60-degree triangle. That's 60 degrees. This is 30 degrees. Okay? So you could go back to that table we made and get the values of it right there. But we'll go back to the sheet. Hey, look at that, 4 pi over 3. That's what we had. So we know that theta is 4 pi over 3. We minus pi because that tells us the reference angle, or basically pi over 3, which is our 60-degree one, like I said. So we know it's 30, 60, 90. We look for the cosine value because that's what it asked for. Okay, cosine from our little chart tells us that it is 1/2. And then we say, okay, well, it's in quadrant 3. Cosine was the x value. So we know the x value in that quadrant is negative, so our answer is negative 1/2, and done. I know that seemed like a lot, but it's really easy once you get the hang of it, because really you're just finding a number on a unit circle and then figuring out what the sign is, okay? Once you get a hang of the fact there's only 3 numbers in the unit circle, again, it's radical 3 over 2, radical 2 over 2, and 1/2. That's it. Those are the only 3 numbers you have to remember. All right, let's move on to the next page. Okay, here we go. Tangent of 11 pi over 4. Okay, so again, we're going to keep it in radians, even though we haven't been before, but I like radians because I can do this. So I want, well, what was it, 11 pi over 4? 11 pi over 4. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is find where 11 pi over 4 is. So we have 1 pi over 4, so 1, 2, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's where my 11 pi over 4 is, okay? And if you notice it's blue, that means it's a 45-45. Another trick is if it ends in a 4, that means it's a 45-45 triangle, okay? And hey, look, this was asking you for tangent. Remember what all the tangents were for these? It's radical 2, radical 2. It's 1. And this is cosine, which is, sorry, sine over cosine. Sine is my y value, which is positive. Cosine is my x value, which is negative. So positive divided by negative, negative 1. Let's see how we did. Oh, I gave you the answers. You were supposed to fill all this out. Let's do that real fast. So we figured out that this was 2 pi plus 3 pi over 4. That's where it was, okay? And the reference angle for the quadrant was in quadrant 2. So we would do pi minus 3/4 pi. And we get that this is pi over 4. Sorry, pi over 3/4 pi. Let's change this over here. We want to convert this into radians. We have pi on the top, so that means we have to do 180 over pi. When we cross multiply, we say this goes here. 180 divided by 4 gets you 45. Which is everything we already knew. Okay, so this is asking us for the tangent of theta is equal to, remember, tangent of theta is always equal to 1. All right, and so now we want to look quadrant 2. Remember, that's this quadrant. So our x is negative, our y is positive, which means it's going to be negative 1. And we're finished. All right, last 2 problems for this section. Okay, so here we go. Sine of 5 pi over 6. So for this problem, what we want to do, again, is first thing you want to do is consult your unit circle if you don't have the stuff memorized. all right? So I'm going to have you pause the video and try to do these two problems, and then come back and check them, and then I'll work through them real fast. So hopefully this will help you to get this section done. All right, so pausing, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's work through them. Come on, camera, let's give me a better zoom. Okay, so this one is 5 pi over 6. So I'm going to look on my circle for it. 11, 7, 5 pi over 6, right here. That is long cosine, or sorry, long cosine, so long x value, short sine value, which means this is a 30 degrees. So this is a 30-degree triangle. So looking at that, I know my reference triangle is this guy. But we don't really care about that. All we care about is sine, okay? So we want to know what the sine is of this triangle. So here we go. This is how I do these. So I know this is the 30-degree triangle, so I'm going to draw my triangle. Looks like this. Sine is the y value, this side, okay? Y is the shortest side of this triangle. And I know I only have 3 numbers, and they go in this order. 1/2, radical 2 over 2, radical 3 over 2. Look, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay? That's how I remember it. That's the shortest side. That's the longest side. This is for 45 45s. That is the shortest side, which means it's 1/2. So sine of 5 pi over 6 is going to equal 1/2. But wait, we want to remember it was in this quadrant, so that means it's going to be -1/2, and you're done. All right, cosine of 7 pi. Hey, there's no fractions. That means it's going to be easy. 7 pi. We have 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi, 7 pi, 180. Okay? So that guy is right here. How long is this? Well, hopefully you are saying along with me. That is 1, Mr. Boone, because this is a unit circle, and the radius is 1. All right? Cosine is your x value, sine y, cosine x. So how long is this? It equals 1, but it's going towards a negative, so it's -1. You're done. Again, these can be really easy, but it's just new, and it's just kind of understanding the terminology. That's it. That's all these problems are. All right? Good luck. I'm going to check all your stuff and make sure there is no crazy word problems because I don't want you to do those. I just need you to know the basics and how to use a unit circle. That's it. Look for more videos coming soon. Bye.